Welcome to the Main Event Fightcast. I'm your host, Vega, alongside the one and only Coach Mike. And we're going to try to make what happened this weekend exciting. Because this weekend's card was, I think, officially the first bad card of the year.
No. It wasn't bad.
I think it was pretty bad. I think it was. I mean,
it was better than.
I know I fell asleep, bro.
It was better than
I fell asleep, bro.
It was better than the week before that. The week before that, I was almost falling asleep.
Nah, the week before that was alright. This week was a little bit rough.
Nah.
It started off good, except for the wild robbery. That was expected.
How did it start? Oh, the fight was decent. That was
the first fight. First fight was decent. It was going really well for Rayanne Dos Santos against debuting Puja Tomar, and I was actually pretty shocked at how
that was a good fight.
How forward Rayanne was moving without really using her wrestling. Like, she really dominated that whole fight, so I was shocked. I guess, as you said before we started filming, I wasn't fully shocked because I laid out exactly why on a business level it would happen.
But what did you think the judges were seeing, or what's going to be their excuse to give her the fight?
That's where I'm a little bit confused, because I don't feel like the fight was close enough for you to really be able to point at a situation and say,
she was on her
that
back
right
heel
there
the entire
happened.
Fight. Back heel the entire fight. She took some punches well, ate them, but
she ate a lot of punches well. But I don't think that's winning a fight.
That's what I don't know. I don't know what excuse the judges could give other than they watched this show and they heard that Vega said.
but it's crazy because, like,
they heard what he said.
I said that about the betting on the show last week. You know what I'm saying? I was just saying that there's a big base, there's a big following.
I didn't know what to say when it happened. I'm just like, I just looked at you like, in my mind,
Yo. I'm telling you, man, it's just, I try to look at the sport from all aspects of it, you know, from the way that it operates as a business and continues operating as a business, right? How it continues flowing forward, which kind of plays a little bit into how I feel about a couple of the different robberies. You know what I mean? Like, Puja versus Rayanne was very specific because there was so much about, like, Puja came into the fight as a recognized striker in India. Oh, and also, correction from last week. I said 2 titles. She only had 1 title. She had 1 title. That was my fault.
It doesn't matter. That means she has a following of at least a company.
Right. So she's strong enough to she's supposed to come into the fight with a really strong striking game. Ultimately, is what I'm saying, and she got outstruck. And she's right, like that. She got outstruck the whole fight, and
she's from India, so that market.
Right, but that market is powerful.
The judges wanted that.
It, you know, so it's tough to. But
I'll be honest, she didn't do so terrible that you're like, it's a robbery.
Right.
But if you watch the fight, you're like, okay, judges are gonna score for.
That's what I'm thinking, right? If you look at the fight just on paper, you just look at the scorecards, you just look at the strike count, you look at the grapple, the control time, stuff like that, right? Then you could feel like, hey, the fight was pretty close because on paper, strike-wise, they did land almost the same amount of strikes in a couple rounds. I think Rayanne had her up, she was up by like 10 strikes in the first round, I want to say. By the 3rd round, I think it was, no, the other way around, sorry. They were tied up in the beginning of the fight. Towards the end of the fight, she was up around 10 strikes.
But she got walked down the entire fight.
But she was walking her down the whole fight, right?
Fight.
So when you look at it on paper and you just look at the stats, it's a little different than what actually happened in the fight.
Had she busted her up a little bit, it would make a difference. You could say damage.
You could say damage, but even from a damage front.
They both looked fresh in the sense that their face weren't torn up, but they were throwing down. It was a good fight.
Now for a split second,
I don't want to say it was ruined by the bad decision, but
for a split second, I will, because I have Rayanne on my DraftKings, so that's some bullshit. But outside of that, I will say Rayanne did look a little bit more tired than Puja in round 2, but somehow she didn't in round 3.
Not at the end.
Like,
Not at the end.
That's what I mean. Like at the beginning of round 2, she looked a little more tired than Puja, and somehow in round 2 she got more energy and looked fresher.
And usually
towards the end of it,
usually it's that last round that makes that decision. So that's why I was completely shocked. If she would have ended the fight good or whatever, I can see it swaying the judges, but it didn't even happen. I was like, okay, she lost.
She lost.
That's what I heard.
So you heard the decision.
I couldn't believe it. But let's move on because
that was
a good fight though. It was a good fight. That's what I'm saying. The card wasn't bad.
This is why I tell people don't take betting advice from me, because that's one of those that I was sitting on for a while and I was like, I should bet on Puja.
And you overthought it.
And I was like, you know what? Betting on Puja is stupid. There's no way I'm gonna bet on Puja. So I did not bet on Puja. Putting her on your DraftKings lineup would have been insanely crazy because even though she won, it wasn't that wild of a scoring. It was it was nothing to really go crazy about. Mm-hmm. But if you would have just bet on her, she was an underdog all the way through. And so that ended up working out amazing.
But
if you bet on her, fantastic bet.
There were also more knockouts in this card than the previous card.
Yeah, there were. There were, including the biggest shocker of the night, hands down, without a question, the return of Dominic Reyes.
I think that wasn't the biggest shocker.
That was the biggest shocker.
If you told me that Cannonier got knocked out, that'd be the biggest shocker. But the fact that we know
how it happened, so we'll get to that.
Stoppage.
The actual biggest shocker was the way Dominic Reyes. Like, there's two shockers in that fight. First, he took a punch. He took a big punch, and that was one of the things everybody was worried about. He's coming off 4 losses in a row, a 2-year layoff. You know how I feel about layoffs, so
big punch from not a big puncher.
You know what I'm saying? No, he took one from a big striker. Like, everybody was expecting Dominic Reyes to go down, bro. Yeah. So, from that perspective, it's like, damn, Reyes really showed up and dusted Dustin.
I would have been shocked if he would have lost like a decision or something.
Yeah, I think a decision is where he had the most chance to win the fight. For sure.
Yeah, I thought he'd win. I thought he'd win that fight.
Where does Reyes go next? We already know he said in the ring he said he was getting married. In the post-fight conference he said he was getting married soon and he wanted to hold off till after.
He'll probably sit out so something really makes sense. But they're trying to push for Smith.
I don't know if Smith is. I mean, I guess it depends on where you think Reyes is in his career. Do you think he deserves a second run at the title? Is he another?
How do you sell that to Smith, to Jimmy Smith?
Jimmy Smith? Oh, I think you meant Anthony Smith.
Anthony Smith. Why am I calling him Jimmy?
Why
am I calling him Jimmy? I don't know why. Anthony Smith, yes. How do you sell that to him?
How do you sell what to him?
How do you sell a Dominic Reyes fight to him? What does?
I don't think you do.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing everybody push for that.
But for me, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, so Anthony Smith is in a weird position right now, right? Outside of the fact that he's in title contention because of what's going on with right.
You chill. Something falls through, you might get in there.
Right? So outside of that, Anthony Smith is more of like the gatekeeper type, right? I feel like putting Dominic Reyes against Anthony Smith right now in their career is saying Dominic Reyes is going to be the replacement for Smith. He's the new gatekeeper, right? That doesn't scream shot at a title for me.
He's a winner too away from that.
Right, that's what I mean. He's a winner in my eyes. So, and not to say Anthony Smith is not a winner, but like to put him against Smith feels like that's not a title run starting fight, right? So if you're going Smith, you're going Reyes is going to become Miller. Right, a Holland, somebody that sticks around and tests the young guys, and is that fortitude, is that breaker
until he has that big
until
win.
Something happens where he gets a chirping moment, ends up in a title shot, like Anthony Smith, where I think he deserves a title shot. He's capable of winning a title shot, and this chirping is working. You know what I'm saying? So play the gatekeeper route, so there's never a thought to get rid of you.
It's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game he has to play because he might get a call on something that might be a little too soon for him.
What you mean? Who? No, I'm saying who's getting the call?
Dominic Reyes. Oh. Let's say Khalil or Jamahal Hill fall through.
Khalil already fell through, right? Because he popped for the steroids and his thing.
Yes, you're right.
So he fell through. So is Khalil, is that too soon? Too big of a shot for Dominic Reyes right now?
I don't think Dom should fight Jamahal Hill right now, no.
No, not Jamahal Hill, Khalil. Because Jamahal Hill's already going up against Uberg. Carlos Uberg is stepping in to replace...
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, Uberg is replacing
I am completely forgetting that one. Wow.
You're dropping the ball right now, son. Nah, so Oberg is replacing Roundtree against Hill, leaving Roundtree with no opponent, and Roundtree's on a 6-month suspension.
Yeah, he was on a 6-month suspension.
Right? But 6-month suspension, timing-wise, does work up to line up with Reyes because Reyes wants to fight after the wedding.
Reyes doesn't.
And he kind of hinted that the wedding won't allow for the sphere to happen.
Same thing and more with Khalil. How do you sell that to him? No.
To Khalil?
Yeah. How do you sell that to him?
I think you sell it with the idea of, for at least, so if I was trying to make the fight.
He was just about to fight the guy that just
but if I was trying to make the fight, I would sell it on the idea of, hey, you got to earn the fans' trust back. Like, yeah, a lot of the fans trust you and believe that you weren't actually popping for steroids.
But why would you feed Dominic Reyes like that to the wolves? Like, that's crazy. I don't see that.
But that's the question about Dominic Reyes. Is Dominic Reyes at that level, right?
No chance.
Versus giving Khalil Roundtree whoever loses between Hill and Oberg.
I'd rather see him and Chris Weidman fight. Weidman will have to move up, obviously.
Yeah.
But like things like that.
But that still doesn't line up a title run. That's what I'm saying. Are you saying he's not getting a title run?
No, he does not. He doesn't. I don't think he's thinking my next fight gets me a title.
No, I'm saying, is he thinking title run plan? Because next fight is not getting him a title fight run no matter where he goes.
So
but I'm saying title run is in the next your lineup, your plan for your next 3 to 4 fights is get to the title by 4 or 5, right? That's what I mean when I say a title run. Is he making that plan, or is he making the plan of, I love fighting, so I'm going to stick around and fight whoever they give me and become Jim Miller, Anthony Smith in those spaces. And then if a title fight lines up and I'm still valid for it, I'm going for my title shot. Right? Like, is Dominic Reyes coming back for what he feels like he lost by losing that John Jones fight and then going on 4 straight losses? Or is he saying, I lost my shot at the title, I'm not getting a title again, but I do want to keep fighting, so I'm going to stick around? Because then in that frame, I say, yeah, give him somebody like Smith. Give him somebody like there's no value in that for Anthony Smith, though, because he's too close to a title right now. So that doesn't work. Give him Weidman, right? Who else is in that division? Like, give him people that are coming up in the division, so that way we can see the Dominic Reyes we always wanted to see, but also understand, like, he's not going to be a champion.
Basically, a tune-up fight that's not like too crazy, like, because Weidman at 205 is not too crazy.
Right.
Maybe the power translate. You never know.
Or gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah, the speed might not translate, but the
older
power
guy. Maybe you don't want to cut the weight no more.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how big Weidman really walks around at.
That's an interesting one. Chris Weidman is an interesting one.
Because I haven't seen any talks.
I don't necessarily love it, but Chris Weidman is an interesting one. Let me see. Let me pull up. Their
stories just match a little in how.
Pull up the division real quick.
Oh, no.
See where we're... Oh, shit, that's the wrong button.
That division...
Lord, how do you get to the button?
Division is wide open.
I just want to go to the button.
The division is wide open. You go to rankings.
There we go.
That division is wide open.
What is we talking about?
Khalil is so close to the title. Was so close to the title with that fight, man. Johnny Walker is at 7.
All right, so... A Johnny Walker will be interesting, but I feel like that's a bit high. Alonzo Menefield could be fun.
Alonzo Menefield just got knocked out.
Yeah, but if Dominic Reyes is not fighting for 6 months minimum, everybody's available, bro.
You're right.
Pretty much everybody on the list is an option depending on how things go. You know what I'm saying? I feel like anyone below Anthony Smith is definitely a valid option. Whether he wants to go on a title run or whether he wants to just kind of play it cool. With the exception of Guskov, because we've seen Guskov is kind of coming up in the division. So that could be interesting.
Who's Rakic gonna get matched up with?
Rakic? Ooh. See, Rakic got to prove himself again. So it's either Nikita to swap places, Anthony Smith if Anthony Smith gets bored, and they're really like debating this looking at him as an actual title person versus just the chirping title backup.
Seeing his name there, I gotta ask you, what do you think about Jan trying to pick a fight with Usman still? I don't know if you saw the whole thing. Usman responded saying that it has no value anymore. I'm not champion. He's not champion anymore. The reason he thought about going over is because Izzy was champion. He wanted to move up, but he didn't want to fight his brother.
Yeah, I don't. I'm with Usman on it.
I agree.
I don't see any value in that.
I agree, but Jan has been so inactive, and to be trying to pick a fight.
Well, it's kind of what I was just describing, right? Where it's like you get to a point in your career as a fighter where your options are retire, right? Or understand that you are now on a decline in your career, right? Where every fight is now for your job as opposed for a chance at the title, right? Like every fight you get into is saying, okay, this person is going to be a lower ranked fighter than me, and I'm proving that I'm still here, right? And then if somebody falls out of a title shot, I'm proving I'm available, right? Like the Anthony Smith position is literally where he's at right now is saying, yo, but nobody below.
He's ranked 10.
Right, nobody coming in under me is better than me. There's no conversation around that, right? But I'm also not better than the people above me.
He's also playing the game right because he'd rather take his chances with the champion than get in there with a younger guy like Rackett.
Right.
And fall back even more.
Especially if I'm in a position where I can make that happen, I'm making that happen. There's no So now if I'm John Blachowicz, right, I'm kind of in the same position as Anthony Smith, just in a higher ranking. Where it's like, yo, everybody above me is already kind of proven that they're better than me. Right, and my shot at getting back to the title feels like a lot of work without a crazy super fight.
Not really.
Right? And super fight feels like Usman.
If he could have got his hat in his name in the hat for the Jamahal Hill fight, he beats Jamahal Hill. He's
back in.
He's the number one contender after that.
Yeah, it is interesting. Now that I think about it, why didn't he go for that? How do you say that?
He's picking a fight with Usman.
Why didn't he make himself available?
He's busy picking a fight with a welterweight.
But that speaks to fighter mentality. And I'm not saying this is where he's at, but there's a possibility in a fighter's mentality where he's like, yo, the easier fight that gets me to a title fight faster is a super fight against Usman. His thought process is super outdated. Right, that would have been valuable if Usman was still the champion.
If he hadn't just lost his last fight.
There's a bunch of stuff in there that makes it more valuable. So his thought process is outdated. But that versus going against Jamahal Hill, who is proving himself to be a real contender, and I feel really confident I'm gonna beat Usman. He's coming up 2 divisions damn near. You know what I'm saying? Versus Jamahal Hill, who's actually competition.
That gets you to the title. Right there.
That's a weird mental place for a fighter to be, but given everything we've seen him go through in his last 4 or 5 fights.
Not to mention, Jerry got getting himself a rematch because he believes it was an early stoppage.
Yeah.
Early stoppage, not saying it was a bad stoppage. Maybe it was early, right?
Well, what was coming next?
Who was the who fought Alex Pereira the best at 205?
Jan. He actually went to decision.
And I wasn't sure he was going to lose that. It was that close that it could have gone either way. He had the wrestling, he got outstruck.
Yep, and was looking super tired at the end of the final round.
Now, if we talk about the agenda, then yeah, the judges should give it to the younger, better story fighter in Alex Pereira because they knew. He got that win, title shot.
Yeah, nothing. I don't think, nothing in UFC is pre-written in any way, shape, or form. But you always have to account for people, right? People are not intending to do bad things when they do these bad things, right? They're thinking about the bigger picture of, yo, it's a subconscious thought. Nobody's sitting at the desk actually saying, damn, my job is on the line, blah, blah. Like, no, it's a subconscious thought of, at the end of the day, what's a bigger thing? If I'm really stuck in a position where I can't decide between 2 fighters who performed phenomenally well in the cage, let's go to the business. What is the value here for the business, right? Like,
no, I get that. I get that.
Does Alex winning or Jan winning make a better business model?
And we've gone there already a couple times.
And you see it. And you can look throughout all of it. You know what I mean? And again, I don't think in any way, shape, or form is bad.
Does Jan not want that fight back? Because if one could argue about an early stoppage, I could say, I thought that was a bad decision.
Who did Jan fight last?
His last fight was Alex Pereira.
Yeah, that's interesting.
A decision that he should feel he won.
He did feel he won.
I don't remember that vividly that he did, but if he did, why is he not knocking down the door?
He posted a couple things afterwards about it. I forgot exactly what.
He should be knocking down that door, trying to get that rematch.
That is interesting because, we could say Jiri earned it, right? Because he just fought Ratchik, right? So he lost to Pereira by KO, fought someone else, and now is like, I'll step in and short notice and fight.
Precisely going to my point. You being inactive, you're probably not knocking down the boss's door, trying to get a fight.
Yeah. Gotta knock on that goddamn door, bud.
I vividly remember Dana White called out, what's this guy's name? Phil Davis. Phil Davis beat Alexander Gustafsson, and I don't remember how many fights Alexander had after that, but he then fought John Jones for the title, and Phil Davis was training Alexander to get him ready for a John Jones fight. Phil Davis was undefeated, not knocking down the door. Dana White called him out about it. He said, I don't know why he's not asking for Bones. At this point, Bones has cleaned the division and hasn't fought him.
He knows in his mind what's gonna happen, bro. Sometimes you just
if the boss is getting on the microphone and saying this,
the boss is calling you out.
He's probably offered you a fight, and now he's just putting it on wax for everybody to know.
Everybody to know. It's not me. It's not me. It's not Jones. Got to do it sometimes. But going back to early stoppages, let's talk about an early stoppage. I went back and watched the footage. Cannonier versus Imavov, right? And after going back and watching it again...
You're going to say the same thing I was thinking. I already know.
I still think it was an early stoppage.
No, it was early. 100% was an early stoppage.
Yes.
But do you think that he survives that?
Yes.
I don't.
I think he survives it. Oh. And I think he survives it because of the biggest thing I hate seeing in the ring, bro.
Cage.
In the cage, sorry. Cage. True. In the cage. Running.
He did run.
Cannonier was full sprinting every direction he could to get away. But it was working. It was working. And I think where the ref stepped in, Cannonier had space to run away again. And he could have.
See, you know what the thing is? He could have stepped in a couple seconds earlier, and it would have looked better than when he stepped in.
Yes.
He stepped in.
He chose a bad spot to step in. If he would have stepped in when Cannonier first hit the floor, that would have been a great place to stop.
I don't know about great. It wouldn't have been great.
I think it would have been great.
It would not have been great.
Because at that, if you would have stopped there...
You're still going to say an early stoppage.
Nah, if you would have stopped there, the replay shows Cannonier's eyes rolling back. And that's always enough. Once we see an eye rolling back, we know you were out. The fact that you came back is amazing. Congratulations.
Maybe that's what happened.
Congrats.
He went to jump in, and he bounced back and was like, oh.
He's fine. Right? And that's the thing. So that's where it gets a little confusing. I can't say the ref made a bad call, right? The ref's job is to make the best call he can make in the moment. In the moment, he ain't have a replay to work with. He's doing what he got to do to protect the fighter. And good or bad call, he did his job, and that's the right job.
Immediate rematch or no?
Cannonier was winning that fight.
100% he was.
Immediate rematch or no? I think it depends. It depends on how the fight between Dricus and Izzy goes. Because I don't want to see Sean inactive for too long.
I don't think either one of those guys matter to that title shot. It's hot title right now because...
No, it's not about the title shot. It's about, for me, it's not about the title shot. It's just about Sean's inactivity. I don't want to see Sean inactive for too long.
I see that. Right? I see that perspective.
So I could see a space where, because of Sean's all-in fight personality, even though he said he doesn't want another fight before the title, if they give him enough to fight Imavov, he'll do it. Because this will be his second fight against him.
Yeah, I don't think that's...
You know what I mean? So for that purpose, I say no. Outside of that, hell yeah, give us a rematch. Cannonier versus Imavov, because who the hell else they're going to fight?
I think if...
Vettori?
I think if they do a rematch, it will speak more to the inactivity of the rest of the division. Because I'll be honest with you, I think Cannonier was done. I think he was about to finish him. The ref just chose a really bad spot. He could have sat back a little, and he would have.
I don't think he finishes Cannonier. And I don't think that when you look at the rest of the division, I don't really see inactivity, right? You got Hamza is the most inactive fighter in the division for sure. And he has a fight coming up finally. Hopefully it goes through next week. We should see Hamza fighting again.
Paulo just lost.
Paulo just lost.
You might see him for a while.
Against Sean. So that's another 2 guys down, right? Vettori's really the only person we haven't seen in a long while. Brendan Allen just fought. Hermanson just fought. But we could see Jack. Jack owes us another fight, so we could call him slightly inactive. Delise just fought and lost. Barallo just fought and won. Pereira just fought and won. Hernandez we haven't seen in a while, and Chris Curtis just fought and lost.
Why is Chris Curtis in 185? He's in 170.
I think they got him ranked on both sides.
That's crazy. I don't think he is.
Or I think they moved him out of the other ranking. That's crazy.
As a welterweight, actually, he's not ranked as a welterweight, but he is more of a welterweight. I think it's just. I forgot who he just fought at middleweight.
It was the rematch. Brendan Allen. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like those guys literally. So most of the division has fought. Most of the ranked people have fought recently. You know what I mean? The only person really ranked that hasn't fought is Vettori, if you really think about it hard. And didn't we just come up with an opponent for Vettori a couple weeks ago? Who was it? It's somebody that's not ranked that just had an amazing fight. I forgot who it was. Go back and listen.
For Vettori? Pereira. No, it wasn't Pereira. It wasn't Michel Pereira. I don't remember.
No, it was Pereira. Yeah, Michel Pereira versus Vittori.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, because Pereira got it done really fast, and we were like, who is left for him to fight? But Vittori's too high ranked for that to really.
I think that'll be a bad fight for Michel Pereira. I think that's.
We're not going back into trying to doubt my boy. We're not going back into trying to doubt my boy Pereira.
You just reminded me.
That's what the conversation was. You don't think he gets it done?
No, I don't think so.
So
I think Marvin has his way with him.
So I think a rematch says more about what we saw in the fight than it does about the division, and is worth it. But like I said,
it'd be worth it. But
Imavov has 2 options right now, or 3 options realistically, right? Brendan Allen, he actually got kind of hurt in that fight with Chris Curtis, so maybe not. So Marvin Vettori and Sean Strickland, if Sean Strickland wants to give it to him. Oh, Robert Whitaker just came off of a loss.
Robert Whitaker is fighting right now.
Oh, Robert Whitaker's fighting Chimaev. What the hell am I talking about? I'm bugging. Yeah, so literally the only person available to him is Vettori. So it's literally fight up or fight down.
I don't think I remember.
Fight Vettori or fight down?
Who's winning that, Whitaker or Chimaev? I don't think I remember your answer on that.
Oh no, I told you. If somehow Chimaev's the underdog, I'm betting Chimaev.
No, but I'm not asking you who you bet. I'm asking you who's winning.
Oh, Chimaev.
Yeah, I'm starting to lean towards Chimaev.
I think Robert Whitaker is the way better striker, but that does not matter with Chimaev. If you don't have knockout power and you're a better striker,
this is the thing.
There's no chance.
And
I don't even like Chimaev.
If he respects Whitaker's striking like he respects Kevin Holland's striking,
he's in trouble.
Then Whitaker has to be prepared to stuff 10 straight takedowns.
Right. And I think Chimaev is that smart. I think Chimaev plays disrespectful as his on-camera character, but he's respectful of each fighter's skill set. He knows what he needs to watch out. In the same way that I think Islam is very, Islam is interesting because he plays like an anti-hero, right? Where he's not necessarily a good guy or a bad guy, right? He's just that good. You know what I'm saying? So he knows how to toe the line between being respectful and disrespectful for the camera, right? But Chimaev is just disrespectful for the camera, but he respects the fighters behind the camera. You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes, he knows he's preparing, he knows what he's getting himself into, which is why he can be so confident in how he's going to fight, because he knows what he's going to do specifically for that fighter. And I think that's where Robert Whittaker has to take the out, because do you think Robert Whittaker out-wrestles Usman?
Out-wrestles Usman?
Yeah.
No.
That's it.
But I think
Chimaev is out-wrestling.
I think he can pick a spot with both of them and knock them out.
I think he has more chance of knocking out Usman than Chimaev, because Usman will strike for a little while. Chimaev's not going to strike, bro. If Chimaev throws more than 10 strikes in this fight, I'm going to be shocked.
I think Usman has a better chin than Chimaev.
Yeah, for sure, but he's going to stand and strike longer than Chimaev. Robert Whittaker will land maybe 3 or 4 strikes unless Chimaev stays on the feet for some crazy reason.
So the last time
landed. Like if Chimaev learned anything from his Usman fight, he's not striking, bro.
With this theory, the last person he stands up and strikes with was Burns, because the size difference.
Right.
Yeah,
bro. He's after his fight with Usman, he's never striking with anybody again.
That's a fighter that managed to burn down his own hype, but I think he has a chance to snatch it right back.
I don't think he burned his hype. I think his hype was building, and it reached the highest point it could build because of everything he has going on in his personal life.
Yes.
Like the rumors about not being able to fly to certain countries and all of those things have capped how high he can go.
Who he's been
But he could go way higher once we get rid of that ceiling. And I think Whittaker versus Chimaev is breaking that ceiling.
It depends. If he has an impressive win over Whittaker, I mean, it propelled DD Pizza title. I don't think people are gonna start looking at Whittaker like, oh no, it doesn't matter.
Chimaev has a story with every single person up for the title, including the man holding the title. He has said some shit and had beef with each of these people, bro, without ever actually having a scheduled fight.
Is he a future champion? Will he touch that middleweight title?
If he gets the title shot, he gets the title.
It's interesting because
and funny enough, as much as I believe Strickland beats Izzy, the only person I think who has a real chance depending on how Izzy versus Dreykus goes, my statement on this might change. As of right now, based on how Strickland beat Izzy, the only person who beats Chimaev is Izzy.
Yeah, that's an interesting fight that I thought we were always going to see. Now
and we're going to see it because
it can
Chimaev's going to beat Whittaker.
No, it can.
And I'm sorry, Whittaker. I am a fan, bro, but it's just one of those situations where I got to be honest with myself.
No, Bobby Knuckles is one of my favorites.
One of my favorites for sure, but it's a really lopsided situation.
I might be playing reverse psychology games right now. You know, I'm picking Chimaev.
I'm still betting Bobby.
But
Are you crazy?
But
what? I'm doing the same thing I did with Dustin. I'm betting Bobby,
Whittaker
bro.
wins, that would be the happiest result for me.
Like, I'm rooting for Bobby Knuckles in every way I can. The way I think he's going to lose is by Chimaev taking him down and never letting him go. Because that's what that snake of a man does.
I am a day one Reaper fan, man. He's the man.
The Reaper, bro. Yeah. Come on.
He don't like to be called Bobby Knuckles, apparently.
The way the Reaper wins in this situation, Chimaev has to play along.
He can win in multiple ways. Don't get it twisted. He can definitely outpoint him. He can definitely get a knockout at any point because I'm not sure about Chimaev's chin.
For those things to happen,
awful.
For those things to happen, Chimaev has to play along. Chimaev has to stay on the feet.
Not true, because Whittaker has good takedown defense. They don't have to play along. He just shoot.
It doesn't matter how good the takedown defense is.
If he shoots
Chimaev took down Usman. You don't think, bro, that is craziness. The takedown defense, at this point, no one's takedown defense matters, bro. No one had better takedown defense than Usman.
You're also talking about an Usman that got off the couch, did not cut weight, so he's definitely not training like he usually would.
Fair.
That's who he got in the cage with.
Fair. That is fair.
That's like saying Volk was gonna get knocked out before Ilia did it, but like being completely sure. Like completely sure, oh, he just got knocked out by this guy. No. Maybe the timetable you could talk about it, but not because he knocked him out. He got up off the couch to go fight Islam. Visibly looked fat, like you said.
Visibly looked fat.
He was depressed, drinking beers at home.
But Usman didn't visibly look fat. Usman fought a great fight.
Usman's a bigger dude.
Usman fought a great fight. And he's a bigger dude than Robert Whittaker.
It was Usman versus Chimaev was two guys that can obviously cut down to 170, fighting at 185.
Right.
But one guy was doing a training camp to fight Paulo. One guy was training off-season training, like when you don't have a fight booked.
I just feel like the unfortunate truth is the pressure that Chimaev wrestles with. Like, he's the only person that you could really say has forward wrestling pressure. Like, the dude wrestles to move forward. He doesn't walk forward. He wrestles to move forward the whole fight, bro.
The last person we seen do that was Khabib.
Right. Like, Islam doesn't even do that shit, bro. Islam will stand and box with you.
He can. He doesn't do it anymore because...
That's what I mean. He doesn't.
Islam is clearly in tune. He sees what the critics say. He sees the people like, oh, if he stands up, he'll get knocked out like he did that one time.
He's like, oh, is that what y'all think? Word. So, watch this.
Now, it's a dangerous game, though. He's also talking about moving up and fighting Edwards. Does he go back to his... for pressure further to wrestle?
If he gets to fight against Edwards, he wrestles the whole fight. I don't think he strikes at all.
I think he has to mix it up. I think Edwards' defense is good enough that you have to let him think you're gonna.
I think we end up seeing Marav Makhachev. The same way I'm expecting to see Marav Chimaev against Robert Whittaker. Because the thing is, all of those guys can do what Marav does. Marab is just the only one who chooses not to abandon it.
I don't think you see that. That's the thing. We've never seen Chimaev do what Marab does.
Because he hasn't had to, because he's stronger than Marab.
But it's still you cannot say that, because if Whittaker stuffs 9 or 10 takedowns, what do you think his gas tank looked like?
Like it looked like against Usman.
That's not what happened. He didn't stuff.
No, Usman stuffed 3 takedowns, and then he had to wrestle him for 3 rounds straight, and then still fought to the end. And did not look that gassed.
Yes.
He looked gassed.
Who did look that gassed?
Islam.
Oh, I thought. No,
not Islam. I mean, Chimaev. Yeah, he did not look that gassed, bro. He looked gassed if you're comparing him to first round, which is all we have footage of.
No, but he
did not. Like, if you look at some of his training footage, he looks more tired in his training footage than he did in that fight.
If they were fighting to the death, who's winning?
If they were going to the death?
Like Nate Diaz likes to say, and his coaches like to say.
I want to change I want to help the point you're trying to make and change it to if they were going 5 rounds so that I could say Usman. But if they were going to the death, Chimaev, bro. Chimaev is going to kill that nigga. Like, Chimaev is an actual murderer, bro. That's why he's not allowed in multiple countries.
In that sense.
Like, if we're saying he goes going 5 rounds.
The fresher fighter was...
5 rounds? Usman. Yes, I think 5 rounds changes it, Usman wins. I think Usman with a full training camp, Usman wins. But also...
No, I'm not saying that. With a full training camp and I'm not saying he wins. But that fight in particular, the way it was going, I don't know if Chimaev he wasn't ready to go against a guy that can wrestle that good.
He hasn't had to yet.
Because Paulo's
There's a difference between training like 15 minutes, 25 minutes, and then actually going in and fighting. Because when you're training, you know that your partner is not trying to hurt you, especially if you're training for a fight.
Yeah,
right? No one's actually trying to stop you from the real fight. So it's not going to you're not going to have that urgency.
40, 50
right.
doesn't...
You get into a fight, 3rd round, that other person knows my life is on the line, my meal is on the line.
And that's my point.
It's a different thing.
If Whittaker stuffs some takedowns, lands some shots...
But that's why I said, if Chimaev learned anything from the Usman fight, Whittaker is losing the fight. because of what you just said. If he versus Usman was his first opportunity to go the distance, right? Gilbert, opportunity to go the distance, right? Like, he's not had a lot of those. So now that he's had those and he's learned, like, the reason I keep going back to the Usman thing is because I think when he fought Gilbert, I think, and I might be, there's two thoughts I have. One is a little oversaturated, where it's the respect that I was talking about that Chimaev actually has for fighters that he doesn't show on camera was showing a little bit because he didn't finish Gilbert, who was already kind of injured. You know what I'm saying? He was already kind of falling apart. You probably could have got it done. You know what I mean? But he didn't. But in the Usman fight, he was actually tested the whole way through. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yo, so if he took from that Usman fight, if he walked away from that and said, oh shit, I'm still unbeaten, I'm still unbeatable, but that was kind of close, and goes back to the training camp and says, let's never make it close again, Whittaker is in trouble.
Nah. I don't.
But I'm hoping for that Whittaker ping pong. You know what I'm saying?
Trouble's a lot, but that's the thing. I don't know. There's a lot of ways that Whittaker can survive the fight and somehow get that flash knockout, but it seems like Chimaev is the obvious pick. But I'm still gonna hope that Whittaker gets it done somehow, some way. And if I had to guess how, Chimaev gasses out.
Chimaev gasses out, says the man. That is, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think Chimaev gasses out. I don't think he's at that point in his career yet.
Alex Perez, main event again.
Let's talk about this upcoming fight week for a second, because we've got what will be another very interesting card. I'm going to highlight a couple of my personal favorite fights from the night. But overall, it's what you expect from an Apex card, right? And I say that, let me very quickly preface, I say that from the respectful position where I appreciate that we have an Apex fight, because on the weekends we don't have fights, I'm losing my mind, right? So I appreciate the Apex fights. I personally feel like that is the biggest differentiator alongside Contender Series and Tough for the UFC,
and it's that
for
same,
other organizations.
It's that same vibe, because these guys are trying to make a name for themselves.
Right, and that's what the Apex feels like. It feels like an episode of Tough, and I skipped all of the house part.
Then you got guys like Adam, who was like his second or third, but he stepped in from Michael Morales.
Right. So first, and I'm glad you said that, so the first fight that I'm really excited about, and I think you guys should be excited about too, is Josh Quinlan against Adam Fugit. And this is one of those examples that I was making earlier with Khalil Roundtree. Josh Quinlan is in a position where he has to earn the fans' trust back, right? Like, his career was going off to a great start. USADA, bad testing, failed a steroid test, has not been the same since.
I'm not familiar with him at all.
He was a
185er and now going down on 170.
A little bit before COVID, he was starting to make himself pretty hot. I think in COVID is probably when the bad news transpired. And he's going up against, as you pointed out, Adam Fugit. Adam Fugit, super fun fighter. I think these guys are just going to be really fun to watch.
High energy guy.
But outside of it being a fun fight to watch, it is a fan fight to watch for what I already stated, right? Like, is Josh Quinlan really somebody that was going to be that guy? Or was he pumped full of juice and that's why he was making himself look good? So I'm super curious. And I'm a little bit on the DC side where I feel like if you've been juicing, you deserve to get it, bro. You deserve to take an L. And I'm personally, sorry about that, I tapped the mic. I was a Josh Quinlan fan. I was one of those people who was like, oh, Josh Quinlan got some potential. So I'm hoping that he either proves the steroid thing was just a thing and he does have that potential, or I'm hoping Adam Fugit does it to him. I'm not picking either one of these guys. There's no way I'm picking this fight.
Well, the pick is it doesn't go the distance. Adam is a very kill or be killed kind of guy.
Right, and Josh Quinlan had power. who we don't know if he still does.
I mean, big weight cut if he was natural. If he was a 185er.
If he was a 185er, he's down to 170. Is that because he was getting 15 pounds of steroids? Because that's crazy, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Now, this fighter I am very excited for. He is a super on-the-rise fighter. Joshua Van makes every single fight exciting as hell. Super incredible striker in the ring. And he's going up against Tagir Ulanbekov. And all you got to know about this guy is beard, no mustache. So, you know what this fight is going to be. Super striker versus super wrestler. But I think, like you were saying about Robert Whittaker earlier, Joshua Van does have a lot of takedown defense and has the potential to keep it on the feet the whole fight. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. And that's that. And he gets mauled.
I'm not familiar with either fighter, but these are the events, man.
Yo, Josh
they
Van,
make a name for themselves.
You're gonna love it. When you see Josh Van fighting, you're gonna, that guy is,
We'll see.
he is the truth.
We'll see.
Who else we got? Oh, of course, Garrett Armfield versus Brady Highstand. If I was going to be giving any type of betting advice, I would say bet Garrett Armfield because he just beat Brackettona in his last fight. And that would be the only reason I would bet on him, the bias, because Brackettona is that goddamn good, as we've seen.
Clark Kent.
So, you know, if I was going to give any betting advice, that would be my betting advice, would be Garrett Armfield. He's going up against Brady Highstand. I don't know too much about Brady. I got to do a little bit more research. I'm excited for the fight because this is a make or break moment with Garrett Armfield, in my opinion, because of the fact that he just beat Brackettona in a crazy razor-thin close decision that did not feel like a robbery at all. And that's as a Brackettona fan. I want to see if he can do it again. And I don't know who Brady is. So I don't know if this is really a same caliber fight as Brackettona or if not, but in both sides of the situation, it's like if he is the same caliber as Brackettona, cool. We now know where Garrett Armfield stands, right? Somewhere in between Brackettona and Brady Einstein, and we want to see Brady versus Brad.
Also another weight cut because this is a bantamweight bout.
Yeah. Yep.
Katona's not a bantamweight.
Yeah, it was. I think he came. Yeah, he's cutting weight for this fight. He's cutting weight for this fight. Yep.
Major weight compared to that.
So that's one thing. Buddy, relax.
Something to keep in mind when betting.
Something to keep in mind when betting. Weight cuts. This fight is important to watch, and I'm saying that in the utmost fully disclosed biased way possible. Jose Johnson versus Asu Almabayev. Jose Johnson is the new Dominican fighter in the UFC in the flyweight division. So you know we got to rep for our people. Rocking hard. Make sure you catch this fight. Show some love.
6 foot tall.
This guy. And he's really fun. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said new because he's 3 or 4 fights in the UFC. My apologies. But he was out for a little while. There was some confusion about whether he'd been cut or not. Some weird stuff was going on. So that's why I said new, because he's returning. So if you look for him, it's going to feel like he's back. This is not his first fight back. He just finished coming off of an amazing win with a beautiful submission. But now he's going against Asu Almabayev, the Tank. I'm rooting for Jose Johnson. Like I said, that's our people. But Asu Almabayev is
tough one. Tough one.
This is like Kamaya versus Whittaker. I'm a fan, Jose, bro. I am, bro. I'm rooting for you. I'm hoping you get it done.
Submission. Hopefully a submission.
But Azu is tough. Either way, the spark's going to be flying in this fight for sure. Whether it's a super fast finish with Asu overpowering Jose with all of the wrestling very quickly, whether it's a striking match to start and Jose firing off in a way that could lead to a knockout. I do see that. Like, I don't think Jose, I don't doubt Jose could get it done. I'm not the rest of the MMA internet community and I don't know if that is my bias or not, but I don't doubt that he could get it done.
Big height advantage.
I just don't think he's going to get it done.
Big height advantage. 8 inches in height, 6 inches in reach. It can play a part.
It can play a big part. And Jose Johnson is fast as shit. So and those long legs could be
good submissions.
The long legs is the advantage when it comes to the takedown defense and the submission defense.
Or just landing a kick.
And submission offense, right? But Azu is again one of those people. If he had Azu is missing a beard, just so you guys know. Like if he had a beard, that's the appropriate picture of him should be a beard, because the man is also a very forward pressure wrestler. So like I said, point of the thing is this is a fight to catch. I think it's gonna be a banger, and support my peoples, bro. We showing up and showing out in this, John. The Dominicans, we out here. Miles Johns, Miles Johns, baby.
You need to start keeping Platanos here.
All right, we gotta start coming out with the Platanos so they know what's up. Up next is, not up next because I don't know the actual fight order this is gonna be, but Miles Johns versus Douglas Silva de Andrade, because he needs every champion last name for a chance at beating Miles Johns.
Damn. So we can move on now. You already.
We can move on pretty quick.
You said who you picking.
It's gonna be an exciting fight because Miles Johns has turned into a fun striker, even though he used to be a strong wrestler. I think he needs to wrestle to get this fight, to get this done. But I don't think he's gonna wrestle. I think he's gonna strike, which is gonna make the fight really interesting and exciting. I'm not saying, so I was very energetic about saying Miles Johns is gonna beat Douglas, but do not take that as betting advice. I'm not betting on Miles Johns to win the fight.
Bet on Miles Johns. If he hesitated, that means it's good. When he changes his bet, the first one.
The first one. And I think I got
So
one
listen
more.
to when he switches.
This one, I actually put this one up here more so for you, because I know how much you love Alex Perez. So I think
don't know about all that. I just told you that card was going to be good. I had a feeling that card was going to be good, and he was one of the people that delivered. But I don't know if Alex Perez gets this one done, man.
Alex Perez versus Tatsuro Taira. This is... I
think they kind of fed him to the wolf. We don't know who he is too much, but...
It's interesting because Tatsuro Taira should also have a beard and no mustache. No, I'm kidding. Tatsuro Taira is
Japanese guys going Russian.
Very fast wrestler. Like his movement on the ground, it's almost like he can read people's mind, bro. Like the way he scrambles, it's almost like he's deciding for you what you're gonna do so he can counter it. Like it's crazy.
I'm interested to see these fights. I'm not making any bets.
Does he have a chance against Perez with the chin? Right, like we just saw what Alex Perez did to Makayev.
I mean, the thing is, Alex Perez is tough. You're gonna have to take some of his punches before you get him out of there. So that's gonna be the question mark for this kid. I never seen him fight.
This one might not even make the cut. So if you see a weird jump, that's why. But Ikram Aliskerov. I'm only excited about this fight. I have to admit.
This monster?
I have to admit. I'm sorry.
6'5",
so
middleweight.
Ikram Aliskerov is going to win this fight. Just know that. This is not. I'm not putting this up here because of that.
6-inch reach advantage again.
Because when you hear who he's fighting, I know you see who he's fighting. I know you can read who he's fighting. But when I say who he's fighting, and I tell you why I'm excited about this fight, you're going to understand why Ikram is winning this fight. The person fighting is Antonio Tricoli, coming in on, I believe, 2-week or 1-week short notice. He's going up against Ikram Aliskerov, another beard, no mustache wrestler who is just going to get it done. He's going to get it done. The only reason Antonio is in this fight is because he's Mackenzie Dern's boyfriend. Like, I can't think of any other reason he's in this fight, right? Like, Ikram Aliskerov is currently washing the division. Everyone he fights, he's pretty much smoking, right? His opponent just dropped out on short notice. No one in the division wants to do that. So this is who they were able to get, Antonio Tricoli. Now, all due respect to Antonio Tricoli as a fighter, I don't actually know his skill repertoire or any of that, but that's kind of my point. right? Like, we don't really know anything about this guy. I'm going to start doing some research. I didn't want to taint the episode by doing extended research on this. Like,
not in this guy. Come on. If you're wrong, you're
right,
wrong.
It's just,
and you heard it here.
You heard it here.
Bet on
if I'm
Antonio.
wrong, I'll apologize.
Bet on
immediately.
Antonio.
I'm here for it.
Bet on Antonio because he's so sure that he's gonna lose.
Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, yo, Ikram Aliskerov is not the guy to throw him on. Like, this feels like being thrown into the wolves, except it feels like a reward. Like, it feels like, hey, this is a favor to Mackenzie Dern in the sense of, like, you've done so much for the UFC. Your boyfriend is new to the UFC. Let's get him in there. He's willing to fight short notice. You know?
And maybe Ikram could leave with the girl after.
I don't know how this fight came to be, bro.
Well,
maybe Ikram can leave with the girl is wild. Oh my God. So these are some of the exciting fights to watch.
So this is the guy. This is the guy that tried to chase down Bobby Green.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So like, there's
this is the kind of guy that was texting Bobby Green, acting like he was Mackenzie Dern.
Right. He was trying to set Bobby Green up. Right. So it's like either this is a punishment to Antonio, and the UFC is like, yo, stop fucking with our fighters, bro. What's wrong with you? Or, which is super unlikely because Dana White is cool as shit. I don't know if he's that.
I don't know.
I don't know if he's that aggressively petty.
I like that.
Like, we know he's petty.
Theory. I like that theory enough to
believe it. Of course you do.
Yeah. Like, bro, it's true.
Or
it's true.
He's like, yo, Mackenzie, if your boy seems like he wants to fight Bobby. If he wants to fight Bobby, we'll give him the Bobby fight, no matter what happens with Patty. If he takes this fight, because it kind of falling apart on us.
No chance.
Yeah.
First of all, now your first theory was decent. That one had no chance.
You don't think there's any chance that the UFC is negotiating with a Bobby Green fight?
A 155er versus a 205er. This is a 205er that's now about to fight at 185.
Right. Forgot about the divisions for a second.
Jesus Christ. Jesus.
Forgot about the divisions for a second.
It
was a cool, fun story without the divisions, bro.
Let's just sanction.
Without the divisions, it was a cool, fun story.
Let's just sanction you versus Buddy. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. You're fighting Vega next week, okay?
Yo.
We're not stepping on no scales.
No scales, no gloves.
You're just gonna fight.
Hope for the best.
You're just gonna fight Vega, okay?
Oh man,
we're gonna sanction.
Yo, I completely did blank out.
We're gonna sanction it. A 155er.
That's crazy.
Versus a 6'5" guy that's probably gonna miss on the scale for 185.
Right? No, buddy.
I did call for you, buddy.
You got it. You got them all excited.
You got it.
Look at you.
You got it. You won.
All right, buddy.
Oh, you scratched me.
We're not done yet, okay?
I'm about to pull a Dustin and pull for a Gilly. I'm gonna pull for a Gilly.
A couple of very important, exciting, buddy, relax. That's enough. Get down. Another piece of really exciting, fun, brand new fight news for us. First and foremost, let's put all the rumors and speculations to rest, at least for the time being. UFC 303 is still on. Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. It is happening. No matter what you see on the internet.
I have fun with it. I have fun with it on Twitter. I was trolling him and said the one at 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning, something like that.
We are 3 weeks away.
It is fun.
We are 3 weeks away from the return of the great Conor McGregor.
The notorious.
All right? The notorious Conor McGregor. I do think Conor McGregor is going to lose to Michael Chandler. Whoa. However, it is the return of the great Conor McGregor.
I don't think that's happening.
So
I think Conor wins.
Put the rumors to rest. That's it. No more. Conor was trolling. Everybody was trolling.
He was not trolling.
I don't know what happened.
That's your take on the story?
No, he was trolling with the hospital thing. When he posted the hospital picture, I think he was trolling with that.
I think he was really getting treatment.
Because the new pictures have him, like his new training videos have him with no beard. That picture, he had a beard. Like a full beard. So
I think he was thinking about pulling out, and the internet bullied him. I think so. He's never pulled.
Think so?
He's never pulled out of a fight. That's a trophy in itself.
Yeah, but you think the internet bullied Conor McGregor?
Maybe not so much the internet, just.
But then you're saying he's actually injured?
I do believe something went wrong. I do believe he might have thought it was worse than it was. I do believe the fight was in danger.
I do believe the fight's in danger. I think the fight...
it was in danger.
No, I think it still is. So my actual theory of what's happening, so like I said, the fight is on...
Well, that's criminal if it's still in danger and they're not saying that why.
It's not. Look,
and selling tickets.
Official confirmation, the fight is still happening. That is for sure. My theory, right? Conor got injured. But he got injured in a way where they're hoping it's not a big deal. Right, so they gave it this week to wait and see, like, all right, let's give it this week and figure out, is he gonna be fine, is he not, right? And then, if he's not, cool. They already got a backup replacement in there, they got him under contract, you can't speak about this at all. Sure, go crazy after UFC 303, but until we tell you officially, you can't say a word, right? Cool. Boom, UFC 303, everything is happening. If Conor actually gets injured right before, like if this injury is that bad and they can't recover from it, and the reason I say that, the reason that that's the easiest thing for me to believe is because how often do we see fighters come on after they win a fight during the post-conference or during the in-the-ring interview and say, yo, I got hurt before this. I had an injury. All the time. Well, the reason we care right now is because it's Conor, bro.
How often do they say it? Not the most. It's not crazy often. How often is it true? Most of the time.
All the time. Every time they say it, it's been true.
No. I'm just saying they don't always say it, but
yeah. No, but I'm saying
Izzy was clearly injured.
Right. Of the fighters who win and brag about it, right? About 90% of the time that they brag about being injured after winning the fight, they were actually injured.
No, they're not. I don't believe they're not gonna lie about that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I believe in a situation like this, if they were to say, yo, Conor got hurt this way, right? There's a risk that a lot of people would then refund their ticket because they'd be like, yo, Conor's not fighting. Now, if Conor fights, you lost your ticket, we got pissed off audience members, right? They should be mad at themselves, but they're going to find a reason to be mad at the UFC. And we don't need that.
Well,
right?
I see why, because you would want them to be transparent about what's going on. Now you see this, you can still read into the fact that there's a discount to it now.
Right. There's a discount now.
You can read it.
So they're saying yo,
he's not 100%.
He's not 100%.
But he's gonna be there.
It might not but as of right now, he's gonna be there.
He's gonna show up.
If he's not there and they already got the backup plan and they gave the discount, refund your ticket now. Refund your ticket Friday night. Cool. You know what I'm saying? But don't refund it 2 weeks before, because then if somebody else buys your ticket and you can't get a ticket, now we get the bad press. We get the issue.
My thing is, if he's compromised, it's more likely that the fight ends with an injury like the Dustin fight.
Oh, for sure. Bro, I don't think, again, I already told you, which you scoffed at, I think Michael Chandler wins.
I don't think so.
Because Conor's hurt.
I mean, that's right. That's the thing. If
Conor's been hurt.
If Conor is good enough to go and move fine, I think Conor beats him. If his leg is compromised and a kick does it to him, I see it.
Oh, also the fun fact, sorry, I forgot to mention. Fun fact, Conor went into the Dustin fight with a fracture in the lower part of his shin bone, connecting to the ankle.
But if Dustin doesn't kick that,
it doesn't break, right? But he was, perfect example of what's happening right now. He was warned, the right hit will break this. He said, fuck it, we gonna go fight. Same situation.
Chandler's not as much of a leg hunter.
No, but I'm saying he could be injured in a way where he's like, yo, what's the likelihood that that's actually gonna happen? It's
that's
Michael Chandler.
Well, that's why I'm a little more confident in that Conor like is more likely that planting his foot in something like that can re-injure it. But if he's good enough to go, I think he can finish Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler gets false.
Well, yeah, he can finish Michael Chandler, I feel. There's no doubt about that. Is it possible? Absolutely. I think Michael Chandler is going to outperform him because everything Conor's been dealing with for his last couple fights.
I mean, maybe Michael Chandler is so pissed off at this weight, he just wrestles him.
Maybe.
Because I always disrespect him in the sense of saying he has a very low fight IQ because he has that ability. And he doesn't mix it up.
I think he goes in there and wrestles just to win the fight in general. But enough about Conor and Michael. I just wanted to say that fight is still happening. More importantly on the bracket right now, Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria has pretty much been confirmed for the Sphere. We're just waiting on the classic Dana White tribute announcement video for us to enjoy on social media, but all signs point in the direction.
It's definitely not official. As soon as it's official, he will announce it.
All signs point in that direction.
Especially with all the rumors
going
out. But
another interesting thing that's happening this week, Jamahal Hill and Alex Pereira are back at it again. Jamahal Hill did not appreciate the fact that Pereira mocked his victory over Jamahal Hill while he was in the crowd at the last UFC event. Buddy, that's enough.
All right, I'm going to be honest. I see Jamahal Hill on Twitter honestly making a fool out of himself way too often.
I'm too much.
I'm a fan, bro.
Way too much.
I gotta say, it's hard to defend you sometimes. Like, just do your job. You're good. You're a good fighter. What happened. I am on the side of that was kind of a freak incident with Herb's not stopping it. It's strange, but he has to find a way to let it go, and I think that's probably why he hurried back from his injury. Like, he doesn't like to sit on the sideline and hear these things. He needs to get on his J. Cole and delete the thing. You know, for real, it doesn't bring the best out of you.
Get out there
it doesn't bring the best of Jamahal Hill. Every now and then he's making these videos that are hilarious, but listen, just because you post don't mean you got to be in there reading the response.
Right.
That's the difference in how certain people take social media. I'm not calling him sensitive. I'm not calling him any of that, but he's affected by these tweets and he's reacting to it, responding to it.
Yeah, and not in the best way either, because he's reacting like
it's not gaining you any fans.
But I will disagree. It is maybe gaining fans because it is funny as shit. The antics are bro. The Jamahal Hill wrote this long ass paragraph about the situation that took place. Alex Pereira responded. I guess he just woke up from the knockout.
Hate to see it, man. I don't hate Alex Pereira, but I like Jamahal Hill, and it's like a gut check to me. Like, damn, bro, let it go. You're not gonna win this until you're in the cage again, and you got a chance. Wait, do your job. You'll get there. You'll get there.
And here's the part that concerns me with the Jamahal Hill situation. All jokes aside, as much as I'm entertained and find it hilarious as shit, you're not paying enough attention to the fight you have coming up.
Exactly.
And the fight you have coming up is 3 weeks away. If you are still thinking about Alex Pereira, Alex Pereira being at a UFC event should not be on your mind when you have somebody you're up against, right? And I'm not even thinking about it from the disrespecting the opponent part. I'm thinking about it from the focus part. You're not focusing, bro.
Maybe not even disrespecting your opponent. You're not respecting your jaw. You got somebody that is dangerous in there, and that's all you should be focused on. You can't be thinking about the last guy, the person that stepped on your foot. It happened. There was nothing more to be said on that, and I guess promoting the next fight, but it's
not even doing a good job of promoting the next fight because people aren't thinking about who he's fighting.
It's not, and I want to segue with these videos that have been coming out this past couple of weeks. All these behind the scenes.
Oh,
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. I thought this card that just passed was good, but the highlight of the weekend have been all these videos from John Jones and DC's conversation, from Aljo's conversation with Hunter. And people, I see on Twitter, people didn't believe that he kind of got bullied into the fight, but why would he lie about that? Like, come on, man.
So if you don't know...
Then Sean O'Malley also had a video of him hurting his ribs before the fight. I'm not saying that both fighters aren't compromised, but it's just a mindset of Aljo being in there and feeling like...
I don't want to be here.
Not even I don't want to be here. They don't want me here.
Yeah.
The same way Jamahal Hill can go into that fight thinking about Alex Pereira while he has somebody else in front of him who's only thinking about him. Sean Strickland was only thinking about him. He's thinking about, these guys must not want me to be the champion. They got me doing a quick turnaround. If I declined, I was gonna get stripped.
Of my title?
Who has ever been stripped of their title after they just defended it a few months ago?
Don't you get 3 or 4 declines? Like, what's up?
I personally thought that Aljo should have stood his ground and just been like, I'm not cutting weight again. I'm willing to fight in this time period. You want to give him an interim title in between that? You're not stripping me. Go ahead. You give him an interim title in between that time? Cool. But I'll call that bluff. I'll fight the interim title.
Call that bluff. That's crazy. Well, we're going to wrap the show now because it's getting a little long, baby, but I do want to end it on, for reference, a lot of those clips came from the absolutely amazing, especially if you are a true fight fan, a true UFC fan. I'll say UFC fan more than fight fan because it's really for the UFC fans more than anything. Fight Inc. is out now, the docuseries about the UFC, Dana White, Hunter Campbell, Mick Maynard.
Amazing.
It is absolutely incredibly well produced. You got to check it out. Lots
Great
of insight,
footage. Great
footage, great detail, great thoughts. Features, the first episode features guys like Izzy, Alex, Usman, Kamaev. Really
Don't be fooled. The star of it is Hunter Campbell.
For sure. For sure.
It's like his coming out party.
Hunter Campbell, bro.
I'd never seen so much Hunter Campbell in my life, and it was
great.
It was a good watch. Good watch.
But that's going to be a wrap for us. So make sure you tune in next week for the Main Event Fightcast. We appreciate you so much. Subscribe, like, and comment. And see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Holla.